everyone. Welcome back to Hot Seat with Penzola. The music edition today is brought to you by Samro, and I'm chatting to Fiestablack, and we're talking all things music. Hi, and welcome to the Hot Seat with Penzola.
Hey!
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for making the time. And I think before we start, just give us a brief, introduction on, who you are in particular, and the moment you discovered the love for music, and what decisions did you make, and what was going on? Why music?
Yeah. Okay, nakina Fiestablack. That's
Okay.
many people know me Galina Louie, but born Tandi Mokhwangwa. Gimubedi from Limpopo Radikali TVTV, like Godi Pundu.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I was raised in Joburg though.
Right.
By my foster parents. I was raised in a white home. My grandmother was a domestic worker working for that white family, and the child there, the lady in that household, couldn't have kids of her own.
Right.
She had a condition called Turner syndrome, so she took me in and she raised me, and I had a pretty dope childhood. It was amazing. Love surrounded me every day of my life.
For sure.
And it was a great experience. The best of both worlds. I've got to experience that.
Yeah.
And the music thing, Joe, it's been there from day one.
Yeah.
It's been there from day one. Like, I wasn't a normal child growing up, I wasn't a child with long water, like after school, like we are school, I'm gonna go play with other children or anything like that. Like we are school, and I take off my uniform. Even if I do that on good days, I take it off, I change.
And sometimes you don't.
And sometimes I don't. I am rushing to my Walkman, and I'm gonna record. I'm gonna listen to the radio, and if there's a song that I like that's playing, I'm pressing record on my little cassette, and then I'm gonna play them back, and it's a concert in the mirror.
And then did you also have that book, your the lyrics?
I did.
Wow.
I had a book, and I'd write like songs, right?
Yeah.
I'm such a dreamer. So I'd write songs. I'd be like, okay, first verse, me. Second verse, Chris Brown. And then I'd leave it open. I just put his name there. And I'm like, Hook, Rihanna. And I'm like, guys,
this song is going to be a hit.
Manifest. Just put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
So.
And what type of music? I mean, what sound and which artists influenced your style in terms of your music career?
I listened to so much music growing up.
Yeah.
That's why I think as a writer right now.
And sorry to cut you there. I know you were raised in this white home, right? And my assumption, and this is just an assumption, you're going to correct me, is that growing up in a black home, there's like the music that the mom or dad or aunts play. So what was the music that was played in the house?
My foster mom didn't listen to music.
Okay,
she wasn't a musical person.
Yeah.
Like we'd go to church. Like we went to like St. Luke's. Like she was a church person.
Yeah.
Like Saturday go kerekeng, youth, and then Sunday morning I'm at church. Sunday evening I'm at church. On Friday we went to a Jewish church called Beit Yeshua, right? There was just so much music around me. Maratoko kerekeng and stuff and white and the Jewish side of things, And it was like. It was very musical too. That's another element of music that I managed to adapt or adopt. Adapt or adopt.
I get what you're saying.
Exactly,
yes,
you know
yes,
what I
yes,
mean? And I had a lot of different musical influences. And now on my part, I would listen to so many musicians, so many different artists. Like I'd listen to Westlife. I was listening to Backstreet Boys. I was listening to R. Kelly in the mix of that. There's Mendoza somewhere there in the mix of that. There's my Zambia, somewhere. So it's just like a mixture of so many different genres.
Yeah.
And it complicated my life listening to all that music because I just can't.
Well, not really. I actually relate because I also listened to Backstreet Boys. I also listened to Westlife. Plus, I mean, I'm from Azola, so Kwaito was a thing.
Exactly.
So you're not the only one. It makes perfect sense what you're saying. No, it does. It makes perfect sense. So fast forward to your collaboration with DJ Kanyani. Tell me about that. How did that come about?
That came about through TV. TV is the guy who produced Shikupu, like who made the actual beat for Shikupu.
Yeah.
I met him when I was like still grinding and I was still go downtown Josie, like downtown studios, more fire, before the buildings burnt down. Hey.
So were you trying to push the music hustle?
I literally left home and I was like, I'm going to the studio. And I found myself in this abandoned building, Gomo 5. It was the first studio where I actually settled down and I started recording, and I was like the only girl amongst like 15 different guys from different walks of life and different countries. And we were just like, there were different studios, like go for floor 2, there was a studio, go floor 3, there was a studio, no lights, no water, no nothing. But then, no dodgy, but the music.
So now I was talking so.
But I was like, no, I'm not here for that. I just want the mic. Just give me the mic. And I became one of the boys, and then sooner or later, it was one of those vibes.
Okay. Then you met this TV guy.
I met TV. Yeah. And then TV had been working with Ganyani. He wrote with Ganyani like prior previous records and projects. And then Nelly TV, one day we spoke about working together on something really, really big. We had this dream and we didn't know how it was going to happen. And then in the mix of things, TV was working on a beat for the Ganyani House Group's 8 compilation. And the Shigubu beat came about. And he had like the skeleton. And I remember, I think they called Ruby Rose. Was it Ruby Gold? Ruby Gold. She did the Monique.
Yes.
They called her for the beats, and I don't know if she went to the studio, if she didn't make it or something happened. And it didn't happen with her.
Yeah.
So then Dee was like, no, actually, I've got this girl.
She can do this thing, man.
She might just do the thing here, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, I was like, hey, what time to get a little guy? Me lenses on 5 feet. Get I was baby sitting my nephew on that day, and I went to Miro Lens and we recorded that song, and
it blew up.
Yeah.
So talk to me about this. I mean, the song blows up. Ki hiti ra go bona mo di video I'm all over the show. You're all over the show. Na wait to dance. What's going on?
I'm living my dream at this point.
Right.
I am everywhere. Kiko Botswana, Kiko Congo, Kiko Namibia, Kiko Border, Kiko Beijing at some point.
And considering that Ganyani is like he's a legend.
Yep.
And so the association,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was like I was really, really honored because from Roja from Radikali, Norwood, or whatever you want to call it, and for me to actually be able to get to that point, with that in mind and with that as my drive. I'm leaving because
you're chasing this dream.
And I managed to grasp it.
Was there no pressure? I mean, this song was big, and it's the song, right? From a legend DJ, right? So did you encounter any pressure, like to now, do something better, like a better hit than that Shigubu song?
Of course.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I noticed, like as time progressed and as I look back now, it wasn't necessarily pressure that I put on myself. It was pressure from maybe people around me. Like every single time someone would want to work with me, because when you hot stuff, everyone wants a piece of you.
Everybody wants a piece of you, yes.
And then when they want to work with you and they want to get into studio with you, there's always that thing, hey man, I want you to give me another Shigubu, let's get into studio with that Shigubu girl and let's make another Shigubu. And that thing really, I didn't realize that it's actually really, really draining. And it's like, yo, get into
because you don't want to box yourself into that Shigubu thing.
Exactly.
Like,
and
can I do something
also
else?
The pressure. It's like I might not give you another Shigubu. I might give you something that's maybe not as hot, but maybe something that's good also. But if you don't give me the creative space to get into studio as me and see what we can do together as creatives, and you just already putting me in that Shigubu lane, or okay, we're getting into studio, I want another Shigubu. Yo, bro, that's like you're killing me. Because the minute I feel like I can't, already the energy is just like.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously you were featured in the song. It wasn't regarded as your song.
No, definitely, it's not.
Right. So, but somehow now you're linked to this type of song that you must do as an individual artist. I mean, as Fiestablack, what kind of music do you want to put out there?
I'm very versatile when it comes to music, which has been a challenge for me. Well, I thought it was a challenge. I mean, I wrote Shigubu. I wrote Shigubu from beginning to end.
Right.
So I give a soul but expect more of that
because
from
me.
Because
there is a you in there.
It's from here, you know what I mean? It's from me. I gave birth to that little baby, So I think with me, it's like, I wanted to box myself also because I thought, okay, here's the winning formula, and people are loving this, and I feel like I'm not getting enough space to do anything else. So I'm comfortable with them boxing me now. I also allowed it to happen, and now I was applying pressure on myself. Now, but okay, maybe this is what it is. This is as good as it gets. It's not gonna get any better than this. So if I don't get another Shigupu, I'm done for. You know. But as a writer, like, I listen to everything, and when I be listening to other beats that are not even Shigubu related or different genres, and I'm still coming up with beautiful music that is not even nothing to do with Shigubu, nowhere close. And I'm like, so what do I do with this now?
Correct.
Do I not give this to people to listen and for them to judge for themselves? Do I keep it to myself? And I found myself doing that.
Yeah. You spoke about writing that song Shigubu, and you speak about writing a lot.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your understanding of that, you know, the ownership, the royalties, you know, and I think the music edition wants to address the education around owning your own stuff. And you know, what's your understanding of that?
Hey, I'm still learning.
Especially because you're putting things out just now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm still learning as I go. I feel like with everything that I do, I meet different people on a daily basis, so I learn new things on a daily basis. But there's importance in owning like your music, you know. Shigubu taught me a major lesson, a lesson that I feel like I had to learn on behalf of many that are gonna come after me, you know. It's important to know what you're getting yourself into. Yeah. You know, but then I was
And what do you mean by that? What when you say it's important to know what you're getting yourself into? What do you mean?
Contracts. Like it's nice and all when things are happening, you know, and you're busy and you're gigging and you're touring and you're getting one lama sentanyana lawa mangani, you know, because it's, you know, I went from not working and not making any money to making a little bit of money, and that to me was like, okay, this is a major breakthrough in my life, because now I'm able to take care of myself now. You know? I'm no longer sleeping in dodgy buildings. Now I am able to rent a room. I can send chele to go makorai. So to me, that was enough for me for like kanako ele. And I didn't know what actually I could be getting way more than what I'm getting, but because I had already committed myself and said, okay, I agree to this, not knowing that I am actually kind of like.
So you're gonna do things better with your EP?
Definitely. Okay. I think I've gained not all the knowledge, but I've gained enough for me to take the next step in the right direction this time.
Obviously, you mentioned Masentenyana, but there is a misconception, and we can't move away from the fact that people think when you're on TV or radio, you know, like you're out there, you're performing, you know, social media's here. So you know, what have you had difficulty in maintaining that facade, that, you know, the celebrity life?
You know, with me, it's funny. I've never really made chelete. Like, I guess I've tasted that.
Marolo go TV. I get a misconception.
And I'm like, I should have. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't have made a lot of money. I should have made a killing.
You could have made it.
I could have, and I should have, but I didn't. You know. But with me, it's like I'm very, very happy about is I never ever put myself under pressure. A certain life or a certain lifestyle. When things were rough and okay, I'm on TV, mara na bank account ya ka girls amo dula ko mndeni or amo dula ke gona and ke dula gona.
Mara ha o fitla ko mndeni a kere mara o celebrity ba go itse.
But they were like, you know, eke o yes phazeng. Ke motho mong, ke motho batho. And I guess like I what you see is what you get. And I've always been that person. I could draw for ke tlo tswa ko ntlong ka phatsa ka trip ya or ka what like ke go la shopong go re ka broto. O tlo tlhakana le nna. And if you're going to ask me my story, chances are I'm going to sit down with you ke tlo go botsa gore na what's going on. Nka se go fitlhele. So that go sasa o botse ba bangwe le go tlhakana le nna. O ska ntshega. O bana le go ntshega o nagane ga ithu gore mara motho ke a motshega mara situation is so I've never had that pressure. I've always been real with who I am and with what's happening with me at that point in my life and where I am.
Right.
And that's always worked out for me.
Right. At some point you were, I mean, talking about who you are, being real, at some point you were pointed out as loud and too sassy. And aggressive. Yeah, well, aggression and loudness, you know, especially when it comes to women, that is how we're labeled, you know. How did that affect your career and the collaboration with other artists within the industries, especially those that you perhaps would have wanted to work with? How did that? And I mean, what were the reasons that you were labeled that way? Do you know?
I do know. I do know.
Yeah.
It was hectic, man. It was really, with me, things happened so quick.
Yeah.
So fast. I find myself sitting sometimes still asking myself questions. Because moments where I was loud, I think when people say she's loud, they're talking about maybe 2 occasions.
Mara king loud. What's the definition of loud?
I don't know to them, but to me, I was standing up for myself.
Oh.
To me, I was like, okay, what's happening here right now is very, very dodgy and it's very, very unfair. And it's happening to me. And and has the power and the capability and the muscle to speak up for me and stand up and say, no, if you're not going to have my back, then I'm going to have my own. And I'm going to speak my truth, even though maybe it don't cover in the long run. But I mean, the truth will always be there.
I mean, are you comfortable sharing with us what you were standing up yourself for as an artist?
The one thing that I know really, really labeled me and is, and I really, really want to set the record straight, is the whole scenario and the situation with Tembi Siete.
Yeah.
Sis Tembi, and the Tunjalo Role issue, that song, And it was very, very, it was uncomfortable for me. It was painful for me, because with Usis Tembi, prior to that incident, I worked with her before, we'd have studio sessions prior to that where I would write for her, even though the music was never released. I don't even know what happened with those old songs, right? Yeah. But when the Tunchalo thing happened, where I write a song and I record a song in studio and I leave it there because I'm not done with the second verse, so I'm still gonna come back and record and release it as my single off the Shigupu, a powerful follow-up.
Yeah.
And then to be sitting at home one day watching live and then singing your video, there's a video playing and it's that particular song.
Wow.
And then I say something, maybe I was a little extra. Maybe I did completely lose it and I did go mad.
But that was your song.
It was my song.
Yeah, so where's the extra in there?
I don't know. I guess I should have respected a legend and I should have spoke to her better. And I did lose it. I'm not going to lie, because already at that time when that was happening, I was still dealing with the whole Shigupu thing and royalties around that, and how I felt like I wasn't given what I should have gotten.
But I mean, obviously with the Shigupu, you did say that you knew little about your music rights.
Exactly.
You flunked that one.
Exactly.
You signed something, you agreed to it, and it didn't work. And this is exactly the message that I get when I speak to most musicians, is that you don't know any better. You're excited about this opportunity, so you sign. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So now at the time when that song that you recorded now belonged to someone else, you knew better. So you knew that song was yours, and now we are sitting. It comes out, and
I'm just like, what's happening here? And I'm talking to the necessary people, and I'm like, I just don't want to mention names.
Yeah, no.
Because I've mentioned names in the past that it came back to haunt me.
Yeah. So, well, hence you got the label, but I think it's fair for you to set the record straight, to say, here's the thing. I like how you put that. I was standing up for myself because. Yeah. So the person where you recorded the song, I mean, there's people that knew the song was yours. So why was that allowed?
The song was recorded at the same studio where Shugupu was recorded. You know what I'm saying? And hence the reason why I feel like I could have been protected more. Yeah. You could have stood up for me and said no, because I remember when I heard, was I hearing the song? Or what was I hearing? I don't remember, but I picked up the phone. And the first person I did call was DJ Kanyani. And I called him and I said, Master G. King. And his response was like, no way, that's impossible. Are you sure? Oh, sure, I'm like, I'm telling you, right? And with all of that, when in the midst of all of this, when all of this is happening now, and then there's the papers involved, and I'm getting calls because now I'm on Twitter. Yeah. I am attacking this woman, and I'm like,
and obviously this is a celebrity that's kind of got more following. And everybody, most people like her. And
you know what I mean? And
you are just upcoming.
It's someone. She's a legend. Yeah. She's someone that I grew up listening to.
Correct.
Aspiring to be like. And I was like, I don't like how that entire thing was handled. I was like, Master, what are you doing about this? Are you going to say anything? Are you going to stand up for me? Because you know very well that that song is supposed to be mine. That was supposed to be my single. You're not saying anything, and I don't know. Funny enough, years later, there was an interview on, I think it was behind the scenes on, I think it was MTV Base or something.
Yeah.
And the truth finally comes out. But I'm like, the damage has been done.
Correct.
Why are you only saying this now? This is information that you were supposed to share with the masses or with the public when I was being attacked.
So did that affect your career?
It
Do you
definitely
think
did. It definitely did, because listen, it did something to me mentally also, that it put me in a state of mind that I was not myself. I was angry, like I was upset, and I feel like I had every right to be upset. Now looking back at it, could I have handled the situation better? Yes, but I didn't, and I mean,
it is what it is.
I can't cry over spilled milk for the rest of my life. It's a lesson learned, but I have no regret standing up for myself. But in the manner in which I did it, I feel like I could have handled things better. I could have spoke to her on a one-on-one basis, but I feel like she could have called me also when she got the song and said, hey, I hear this song and this is your voice. And apparently you wrote the song for me. You've got my number, Sis Tembi. Why didn't you just call me? You could have called me. So everything about that transaction was dodgy and just unfair.
And then what happened after that? Where did you transition to? What were you up to?
After that, I worked on more music. I was around studios, in and out of different studios, just working with different people that wanted to work with me, But one thing that I did notice is that this industry is so small, and people will label you and they will judge you, and and people will believe whatever they're hearing as long as it's coming from who they want it to come from, And in Fiestablack, I was labeled as Papa. I'm a one-hit wonder. I came through. Fame. It was never that. It was never that. Did I go crazy? Yep, I did. But I've been working on different music. There was a time where I did take a break for I think a good year, where I just couldn't get into studio. Not that I couldn't. I just didn't. I couldn't bring myself to go record because my writing was also taking a knock. I wasn't happy with what I was writing.
What space was that?
I don't know, man. Like I couldn't be creative. No matter how amazing the beat was or how much I connected with the instrument or the beat, I just couldn't write. And as a writer, that was the worst. I think they call it writer's block.
Is that what they call it?
I think they call it writer's block. Yeah. It was so painful. Because I could you connect with the beat and you're just like, I want to write a beautiful song to
Mara, there's no words.
And I'm like, I just can't. Yeah, there's nothing that comes to life.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know what? Let me take a break from all of this.
From all of this, yeah.
Exactly. And that's when I really started drinking a lot. When I stopped writing, I was like, hey, I'm not writing anymore. So I'm not performing much.
Did you now somehow think that the drinking was going to help you be creative, or what was it?
I really did think so. I thought that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, this is going to boost my creativity, and maybe when I got before I listen to a beat or got before I try and write something
will come up.
Something will come up.
Yeah.
And then I just found myself drinking myself to the pits, and still no music.
And where's your mom during this whole time?
My mom is very alive and she's there, but I'm keeping my distance from my mom because I don't want my mom to see me in this state.
Correct.
Because I know very well that she's the first person who's going to know and who's going to see. So
and then your foster mom as well, where was she?
She was in Norwood.
Yeah.
She was in Norwood.
Yeah.
From primary school, after primary school, going into high school, me and her, we kind of went our separate ways because then now I started to spend more time with my biological mom, and then I remember I moved to Limpopo for some time, and it was all of that. So I was, I was all over the show.
Cool. I mean, now, talk to me about what you're planning. I know you're planning an EP. Yeah. What other things are you working on? How are you going to do things differently in terms of copyright, in terms of owning your music? You know, that's very, very important. You've learned your lessons. People have played your songs while you're sitting at home without you knowing. You know, how are you going to do things differently?
I'm very, very selective with like studios now. Even if I get a selective, I literally have one studio where I record. And I feel and I believe what I'm safe with this person. But when this thing of recording here, recording there, recording here, recording there.
Why is that though? Why is it recording with studio or you know what causes that?
Different producers are in different studios, and maybe this one has a feel or a sound that I like that the next person doesn't have, you know. And we artists.
So when you record there, it's done, and then you leave it there until
it's done. Exactly. You know, and then in between you leaving it there and you thinking you're gonna release it, a lot can happen.
Yeah. So you haven't signed anything.
Exactly.
Yo.
You see.
So that song is what's Maya? Good night, bye bye.
Anything can happen.
Wow.
And then also that's when but you see when I was there with the whole Chunchalore thing, I didn't think that I needed to go sign another contract now and protect this song because already we have this contract, and I thought, okay,
but why is that
umbrella?
Yeah, but no, I say umbrella.
It wasn't.
Because if it was an umbrella, it wouldn't have happened.
Exactly. But you see, I didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you know that you in your little experience? You know, obviously, I speak to quite a few musicians, and others have been in the industry for long. So, with the little experience, you know, what is critical for somebody sitting out there thinking about, you know, making music or creating anything? I mean, you know, even the show while we're sitting here, this is we are here creating something.
Definitely.
You know,
definitely.
so what's the core thing that?
I think from my personal experience is that question now, why are you doing this? We dear line. Because I think when you have that figured out, then everything after that follows is gonna be directed to that, you know. If you approach it, got that mentality, this is now a long-term thing, you're gonna make sure that everything is in place. Long-term.
Yeah.
You know, paperwork, everything that you need to know, you know, you're gonna have everything in place. But if it's just that thing, okay, you're doing it for fun, and you're just doing it for the hype, or you're just doing it for nice time, because you're not gonna take it seriously,
right? You
know, and it's gonna backfire.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the industry is brutal. Everyone says that, just like any other industry. Frankly, I think. But there's always a thing that says for women in the music industry, it is probably much worse because there are other ways that these people that are in power think that as a woman you could either pay for studio time or, you know, for us to release your album first, you know, let's do other things, which I doubt, and I don't know. I mean, I doubt that's what happens with the guys unless, you know. So how was that for you? I mean, was there ever a point where you felt unsafe in studio? You felt that, you know, the people are getting too close. They want, you know, payments in kindness. You know, those type of things.
Back.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
no, you know, I always say I'm so fortunate and I feel like I'm so blessed in that department. I have never found myself in a situation where
you had to give it up. Yeah.
I've never, and I've worked with so many men. I've been surrounded by men, you know, like throughout my entire career. But I've never met type of Joey. You know, and I thank God for that. Because I don't know how I would have handled it. I don't know if I would have given up like or not, you know. But I thank God that I've never ever been exposed to that.
Yeah.
But you know, I've heard about it. I was reading some article, man. This girl, her name is Shigupu actually. Her name is Shigupu. Yeah, I don't know much of her music though. But she was talking about how she's actually gone through that and how she's had to go from one guy to another and use her body to pay for certain things, thinking that it's going to get her somewhere, and it hasn't gotten her there. And I'm like, yo.
Did she willingly pay in that way?
Or I don't know if it was willing, or I don't know. But I read it, and it was painful to read. And I'm like, yo, you know what? You think you have it like bad until you read Story Samutomo.
So you're coming up with an EP.
Yeah.
You realigning yourself with your music. You are coming back. You're doing things differently. You've learned your lessons. You know, and half the time, you know, during the time where it's quiet and you're taking a break from the music, as all musicians, you know, there's that income challenge, right? And, you know, some of the musicians I speak to, you know, they're either into radio or presenting. There's always different things and diversification that takes place to obviously, you know, maintain and look after yourself, because whilst you're doing the music because you love it, you need to get paid.
Definitely.
So
you need to eat, man.
yeah. So how are you eating outside of music?
I've been blessed with some people in my life.
Right.
You know, I've been blessed with people in my life who have always been willing to help me along the way when things get really, really, really tough. You know. But it also gets to a point where you can't be asking for too much all the time.
Right.
But and it's understandable and it's fair,
So,
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I've been surviving. What's okay? And it's been that, and I mean we have Sambro also that also looks out. I mean I've personally been helped. You know, definitely. You know, by them also,
and when you say helped, I mean I don't suppose someone just you offer the handout, right?
No.
There's a process, there's royalties, and you get paid. You know what is due to you. I'm just stating. I just want to.
You get paid what's due to you. Definitely.
So that's definitely, you know, has worked for you.
It's definitely helped me. It's sustained me. It's helped me out, especially when things were really, really tough and you don't know how you're going to pay your next rent or and it really comes in handy.
Now talk to me about this industry. Like, what's the one thing that has happened and you're like, yo, burafla. Like, you know, what's the one thing that's just stood out for you? I mean, in the time that you started, you know, you were trying to push this hustle. Yeah.
The one thing that's really stood out for me, when this industry is brutal, is how quick people switch up on you. Ne? And the people that haven't even met you in person, right? But the rejection that you get from people, like I have been rejected so much from fellow musicians.
Rejected for what? Like
just because I want to work. Like literally, like now if I want to work with you and I get my hands on your number, I'll make sure that I get your number. And I will hit you.
So your peers in the industry,
No. It's almost as if like was it really that bad?
But do they give you reasons why they don't want to work with you?
It's just a matter of not now. Or no man, you know, like no. Not now. We don't want to work right now, or I don't have anything that I want to work on right now. I'm just not interested.
Right.
You know, and I'm just like, once you say that to me, I'm not gonna ask you why. Already, I'm just like, I think I know why. You know, so it's just like when something happens.
And are these people that currently have material out there that are hot, or you know?
No, I'm the one that's gonna be hot, and they're gonna want me to feature. And I'm gonna do the features.
So that's so. I mean, like. I'm trying to think. I mean, are you able to mention some of the people that you asked?
People who turned me down.
But they've turned you down anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't want to mention any names. Okay. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll accept that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
It's been such a pleasure. I wish you good luck with your EP.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, I hope to see more and more of your music out there, right? Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Guys, that was great talking to Fiestablack. She is, look out for upcoming EP. What is your? Metefo. And you said that means?
Malekere,
like sharp. Yeah. Soft life.
Sweet things.
Yeah. Okay, guys, that's a wrap. It was such an insightful conversation with Fiestablack. We're going to look forward to a new EP that's coming up. Wishing her all the best with her music. If you do have a question for her, please drop your question in the comment section. I'll definitely ask her to answer that. Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It's been a real thing. The music edition on Hot Seat with Penzola. It's been a real thing.